Welcome back to another edition of the Net Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Broadbent. Joining me once again are my co-hosts, Richie O'Leary, Alec Krauthamel. The next commitment from the weekend is commitment number 5. This is a linebacker from New Jersey, Adam Shaw, 6'3", 205 pounds, from Passaic Valley High School, I think is how you say it. I'm not from the area, but that's in River Vale, New Jersey. This is, like I said, the 5th commitment of the weekend, but not the last. Rich, what is Rutgers getting in Adam Shaw at linebacker?
A quarterback. No, in reality, he plays quarterback for his high school team, so it's a little hard to judge him based on his tape. But he's going to come in as a linebacker for Rutgers, kind of an athlete type role, I guess you could call him. He's just a super athlete, like 4.7 40, like plays football, lacrosse, track, basketball. Does it really all. He's got the bloodlines to him, too, of a super athlete. His mom was the MVP of the Michigan State field hockey team. Dad was an All-American at Michigan State and a 5th-round draft pick. So, I mean, everything right then and there, it's like it says he's a really promising athlete. And you've seen them start to target that a little bit more recently because they're bringing in another guy next week in Dante Carr, who is a quarterback, actually performed at quarterback at the recent camp me and Alec went to. And he's going to go to college as I think it was a safety or a linebacker. I forget, but either way, there's a lot of guys out there that play quarterback for their high school teams that aren't quarterbacks in the future if they want to play at the Power 4 level, and this is one of them. You watch his tape, he's just it's hard to gauge because it's so hard to translate a quarterback into a linebacker. But if you watch him, he's got the football speed, he's got the knowledge of the game to avoid pressure, to avoid the tackle. He's very elusive. He has good vision when he's out there. Like what he's playing as quarterback is essentially just an athletic ass running back that's just going to run. He's going to throw the ball a little bit. And he actually, I think he had 20 touchdowns or 18 touchdowns or something like that. He did pretty good. And I remember pulling up his numbers, and his quarterback numbers were pretty good on the year, but he just is a notable rusher. And that's when you watch it, you could see that he has this skill out there. It's just so hard to diagnose him into being a linebacker. But being a quarterback, you have the mind of what an offense is going to do. So I feel like that kind of helps him on the linebacker side too, because now when you go out there and play linebacker, it's like, oh, I know the quarterback's going to look me off this way, but in reality, he's going to throw this way. So I think that kind of helps his skill set in that regard. And it goes back to like a Drew Lascari type situation where Drew Lascari was a quarterback's coach his entire career. Rutgers put him at safeties coach under Schiano. And it's like, well, how does that going to work? And it's like, in reality, he knows exactly where the quarterback's going to try to throw the ball. Like, so it's kind of like he's going to tell you, oh, watch, the quarterback's going to do this. He's going to look you off real quick, but he's still going to come back to that route and still hit that route. So as the safety, like, you got to run up and just jump it before anyone can see you. So stuff like that, I feel like is going to help him translate. So I think he is a little bit of a project. I think he's going to take some time to adjust to that level. He does play safety for his high school team, so it's not like he's totally lost out there on defense when he comes in at Rutgers at linebacker. He's just going to have to drop down a level, and that's where he's going to have to figure some things out. But really good get, especially to beat out a Michigan State team that literally has every tie in the book to basically land him and a legacy kid, and they weren't able to do so.
Yeah, talk about his connection to Michigan State. Both his parents were athletes there. I think his dad was a draft pick, right?
Yeah, 5th-round draft pick back in the 90s, I think it was. Mom was a field hockey star. They went to Michigan State, and this is where it's a little different. They went to Michigan State because they grew up in Michigan, so it was the local hometown school, whereas Adam grew up in New Jersey. How they ended up in New Jersey, I don't really know. But Adam grew up in New Jersey and ended up staying with the hometown school. So it's the same kind of scenario there. And it worked out really well for Rutgers. They got in with him probably a little later than they would have liked to, but offered him recently, I think it was last month, and all of a sudden just got him on campus, done, see ya, we're good to go. And we kind of projected that was going to happen too as soon as they offered. And I think we had a future cast in for, 2-3 weeks now? 4 weeks now? Maybe? Close
Something
to that?
like that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good get.
Alec, what jumped out to you on his tape that intrigued you?
Yeah, a lot of his highlights are at quarterback, but like Richie said, you do see some translatable skills. He is a great athlete. I actually did think he had a pretty good arm, but yeah, projects better as a linebacker at the next level, and also not even just as a physical thing where he, like Richie said about how as a quarterback you're gonna know when you're playing defense after playing quarterback, you're going to know what the quarterbacks are going to do and all that stuff. Being a linebacker, it's also pretty much the quarterback of the defense as well. I guess it's a little bit of a cliche, but that kind of thing, having command of a unit will definitely help as well. And I also think it's an interesting look into where Zach Sparber's recruiting eye is focused on. Some guys that are superb athletes that they're really going after to play linebacker, like looking at a guy like Joey Kopech, kind of a similar thing. He's a great athlete, really fast. So I guess it's kind of a good look into what Sparber's kind of going after when he's recruiting guys to play linebacker and what he's into. Because I don't know, Richie, I don't know if you mentioned this, you probably did, but Sparber also offered him at James Madison before he came to Rutgers, so the connection was already there. Yeah, he's tested 11.32 in the 100-meter dash, 4.5 second 40-yard dash. Really impressive for a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, because when you have guys like a DJ Chibome, who's also a really good athlete, guys who are already established, we'll see how some of these other guys develop as they come through the program, especially with a new position coach in Zach Sparber. But we're kind of seeing where the eye is of what they're going after. They're going after guys who are really great athletes, but you can develop them in their a lot of the what it takes to be a really good collegiate linebacker kind of along the way, and as they're developing, kind of work with those things. But I guess they're kind of taking the mantra of you can't teach speed, things like that, especially when you're in a conference like the Big Ten and you bring in some of these West Coast schools who a lot of their identity is not the same as the rest of the Big Ten's identity of like Smash Mouth football and all that fun stuff. And so you bring in a guy, you start bringing in more guys at the second level. You need guys who can go sideline to sideline and compete with some of these like USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington skill position players where, the Pac-12 has a lot of speed, not as much size, things like that. So, yeah, it's a good eye into what they're going after. I think this is a solid get. Like Richie said, Michigan State really did want him, and they had an official visit scheduled, but obviously that's off the table now, and he's a Scarlet Knight commit.
Pittsburgh had him for an official visit as well. I forgot to mention, which is actually funny because it's kind of weird. Rutgers offers a kid, Pittsburgh offers a kid. Rutgers scheduled an official visit. Pittsburgh schedules an official visit. Jeez, I can't talk. You're getting my point. Pittsburgh kind of just, if you don't know how to recruit, you just follow the other guys, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I guess so. We've had a lot of luck in the Garden State over the years between guys like Deion Lewis, Kenny Pickett. So it seems like they know what they're doing recruiting.
Yeah,
at least
I can't hit on them too much. But.
Yeah. All right, so this is more of a projection because he obviously doesn't even play the position in high school, but good pickup. Athletic traits are certainly there, and Sparber really seemed like he was pounding the table for this kid as soon as he came on. So I like the pickup, and let's discuss the latest commitment, Brady Owens, on the other side of your podcast feed. We'll see you there in a minute.